Well, Jack, welcome to the Texas News Podcast. Look, this is not the first time you and I have met, is it?
No, it's not, and I hope it won't be the last.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Jack and I participated in a sort of an online global summit of independence movements, and have got to know each other quite well since then. But Jack, I want the listeners and the viewers to get to know you like I do. Why don't you, tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, yeah, sure, Daniel. Well, it's been a long journey, and not just a long journey for myself, but it's been a long journey for the Cape. And people ask, why do we want to make the Cape an independent country? And the truth is, we were independent for a lot longer than we've been enslaved. So prior to 1910, South Africa did not exist. And before that, we had a long history going back to 1652. 1652, I think your American listeners will appreciate just how far back that date is. And prior to that, we were first explored by the Portuguese in 1488. So when people say that people of European heritage don't belong in the Cape, at least, we'll talk about South Africa later, but the Cape, at least, this is absolutely absurd. And I look forward to explaining the history of that later. But the Cape has been independent for a lot longer than it's been trapped within this colonial union of South Africa, which was forced on us by the British Empire in 1910. In 1948, we were taken over by the Nats, the Transvaal-based Nats, and they implemented a system called apartheid. And then in 1994, that came to an end when the ANC regime took over. And so around that time, my father was involved in something called the Committee for the Cape Republic. So I grew up with political figures around me from an early age. I met Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, one of the great leaders of the Zulu people. I met some of the key leaders in what is now the Democratic Alliance. Prior to that was the Progressive Federal Party, members of the Freedom Front, etc. And so there was a lot of talk around 1994 as to what the new South Africa would look like. And even at that point, there were strong talks about secession or federalism. And my father was one of the founding voices in this movement. However, in 94, the apartheid government sided with their counterparts in the other centrist totalitarian regime. The only difference was the skin color of those they chose to oppress. And at that point, the ANC had said that they were fighting for, or they would implement a rainbow nation where everyone is equal before the law and there would be no discrimination based on skin color. Well, fast forward to 2007 and over a decade into the new dispensation, and it became very clear to myself that the rainbow nation that we'd been promised was a lie, and that we were heading face first into a completely communist totalitarian regime. And that was when I began the Cape Independence Party in 2007. So it's been 18 years now that we've been fighting for this, and we've got many tales to tell.